Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm going to begin by looking at Exodus chapter 3, verses 1 through 6. After spending 40 years shepherding his flock near Mount Horeb or Sinai, Moses encountered something peculiar. His sheep were grazing near a bush that was engulfed in flames, yet it was not consumed. Intrigued by this unusual sight, Moses decided to approach the bush, and behold, it was burning brightly, but it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I must go closer and see why the bush is not burning up. And when he approached, the angel of the Lord called to him from the bush, saying, Here I am. And he said, Remove the sandals from your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. Now there's so many incredible lessons in this passage, but let's pay particular attention to the fact that this encounter took place in the desert. And more specifically, let's examine the word desert itself and understand its meaning and significance. You see, the word desert here actually refers to a desolate, barren wasteland, a place devoid of life and vegetation, typically characterized by extreme dryness and a lack of natural resources. It's a place where survival is challenging and the harsh environment tests the limits of endurance. Picture this. The scorching sun beats down relentlessly on cracked and parched earth, creating an oppressive heat that seems to consume all hope of life. In this unforgiving terrain, water is scarce and vegetation struggles to survive. Sand dunes stretch endlessly, forming a monotonous landscape that can disorient and demoralize those who venture into its depths. The desert becomes a metaphor for hopelessness. So why would God choose such a desolate place to reveal himself to Moses? Well, because it was precisely in this place of apparent barrenness and despair that God's presence shone forth with even greater brilliance. This encounter highlights the paradoxical nature of God's ways. Just as light exposes darkness, so does God's presence illuminate the bleakest of landscapes. By revealing himself in the desert, God not only transformed Moses' life, but also demonstrated that even in the harshest environments, hope and purpose can flourish. You see, the desert symbolized a complete break from Moses' former life. It represented a departure from the familiar surroundings of Pharaoh's court and the societal norms that once defined his world. In the desert, Moses was stripped of all external support and comfort, left to confront his past, his fears, and his doubts head-on. It was in this raw and unfiltered state that God chose to reveal himself. Why? Well, because true encounters with God often occur in the barren wastelands of our lives. Moments when we feel lost, forsaken, and utterly dependent on divine intervention. God sought to establish a profound and genuine connection with Moses. Free from the distractions of power, prestige, and societal expectations. Through this intimate revelation, God intended to instill in Moses unwavering faith and a deep sense of reliance on divine guidance. Now, some people think that the fact that God called Moses in the desert implies that he wants us to live in isolation, avoiding the complexities of society. However, that couldn't be further from the truth. See, the desert was merely a temporary phase in Moses' journey, a crucible in which his faith was refined before he was called to lead his people out of slavery in Egypt and into the dead, his promised land. His wilderness experience equipped him with the strength, wisdom, and resilience needed to fulfill his mission. Moreover, it was not a secluded place, but rather the starting point of a transformative journey. As Moses journeyed with God through the desert, he received the 10 Commandments and divine instructions on how to lead his people towards freedom and the land God had promised their forefathers. The desert, therefore, became a setting for divine revelation, a place where laws and principles were established that would shape the destiny of an entire nation. In essence, encountering God in the desert signifies a profound spiritual awakening. It represents a shift in perspective, a realization that the barrenness we perceive can actually be a fertile ground for divine transformation. By stripping away all external distractions, God allows us to focus on what truly matters, our relationship with Him and our purpose in life. It's a reminder that in moments of despair and desolation, God's presence is most evident and His power most potent. Look, sometimes in life, circumstances beyond our control thrust us into situations that resemble the desert, the loss of a loved one, a failed relationship, financial ruin, health issues, unexpected job loss or retirement. These hardships can toss us into a desolate wasteland, leaving us feeling lost, hopeless, and utterly vulnerable. During such times, life's path seems to lead through a barren landscape where the harsh realities of our present overshadow any glimmer of hope for the future. But let me remind you of something. Just as God revealed himself to Moses in the desert, he also walks with us through these challenging valleys. When life's winds of change sweep us into unfamiliar territories, it's important to remember that these experiences are not the end of our stories. Rather, they are chapters in the greater narrative God is writing in our lives. They may feel like deserts, but within them lie the seeds of new beginnings, opportunities for growth, and the potential for discovering deeper truths. These challenging moments have the power to refine our faith, strengthen our resilience, and open our eyes to new possibilities. They become the crucible in which our spirits are tested and ultimately emerge stronger and more steadfast. Remember, every sunset is followed by a sunrise. Every dark night yields to the light of day. Similarly, every desert journey has the promise of reaching an oasis. It's a testament to the human spirit, as indomitable nature and God, as unwavering commitment to guiding us through life, as ever-changing terrains. It's like when God told me to leave my job in corporate America to pursue my dreams. It was scary, but I knew I had to trust him. That desert season lasted 2 years, and it was tough. But through it all, I never stopped believing in him. And guess what? God used that experience to catapult me into my purpose. And this isn't just my story. It's the story of thousands upon thousands of people I've met over the years who experienced similar journeys. And that's why we created a community. It's a supportive network of dreamers, risk-takers, and believers who understand the highs and lows of pursuing God's call, to find encouragement, advice, and a listening ear. We meet monthly, in person, and online, and we even host an annual conference. It's like having a second family. But here's the beautiful part. While we may traverse our own personal deserts, we must also recognize that God often leads us to become sources of water in the parched landscapes of others' lives. We have the opportunity to be channels of God's blessings, bringing hope and renewal to those who are spiritually thirsty. When we share our stories of faith, resilience, and triumph over adversity, we can inspire others to keep moving forward. Our testimonies become beacons of light, guiding them through their own trials and reminding them that they, too, can emerge from the desert stronger and more enlightened. You see, the desert experience is not meant to isolate and discourage us, but rather to prepare us for a greater purpose. It equips us with the strength and wisdom to not only navigate our own life's challenges, but also to be a source of strength and inspiration for those around us. And remember, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies those he calls. It may feel like you lack the necessary skills, knowledge, or resources, but God sees your heart and your willingness to obey. Have faith in his plan for you. Trust in his guidance and allow him to use your unique story to bless others. Your desert season may feel like a dead end now, but in time, with God's help, you'll realize it was just a detour on your journey to your promised land. Let me ask you this. What desert experiences have you faced in your life? How have you found God's presence and guidance during those times? Share your stories in the comments below. Your testimony could be the light someone else needs. Let's encourage and inspire one another. Thank you for watching. Remember, God still calls by name, even in the desert. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more daily videos that will inspire and uplift your spirit. Stay connected with us and continue to walk in the light of God's love and guidance. God bless you. And until next time, may the words of this video stay with you, reminding you of God's presence in your life. Take care.